Season 10. I'm Helium, and joining me again is Blaze. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. After we get the patch issues resolved, we didn't have too big of a turnover time. There are some different regions that have different expectations as far as updates go, and that really can vary from 10 minutes to several hours of turnover time between patches. So glad that we got this one underway pretty quickly here. Interesting draft already underway with Lycan getting through to the first phase. And obviously, you know a little bit more about Album Sheet than I do. So why don't you tell me how they're going to play this one out?
Yeah, so Big Nom, he made a big name for himself a couple days ago in the Game Show League playing on the Bane. He put some really impressive performances. Vova Payne playing the Leshrac. So Bane Leshrac is something Album Sheet really like to run in their support duo. Obviously, you get the push from the Lesh, the Edict, it's pretty nice. But not really prioritizing the Edict as much as the Lightning Storm coming out on that Lesh that they like to play. Kind of control the team fight with it a little bit. And of course, the Lycan's going to add into that push. No Fear's been playing a lot of Batrider, but really who hasn't? I think Inquisitor, I remember a couple key games playing that Invoker, so we could see the Invoker come out again with the Quas Exhort, some Forge Spirits, some Necros, but yeah, I mean, somewhat standard stuff. Maybe the Leshrac and the Bane always being prioritized is a little bit differently, but it's not an unheard of combo. I mean, Nightmare to Split Earth, here it's pretty good.
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of potential there, and we'll see what they fall through with. We so far have just been seeing some really good Skywrath Mage play in general. Like usage of his supportive utility has been pretty much on point, and it's not exactly hard to do on the hero. The only thing that's really weak about him is his in general squishiness. Is not very durable against a lot of things, and he also doesn't have good counter push wave clear. But seeing as the Earthshaker kind of handles a lot of that by playing very defensive and by controlling how the fights play out with able to kind of pick things apart and split things up, that's going to be still perfectly fine in his favor, and we're going to be seeing some momentum behind it. Still early in the draft, Album Sheet, they know what they're up against, and they're going to try to draft around it. First and foremost, Mass Serpent Wards plus Lycan equals Dead Towers.
It really, really does. And it'll be up to Earthshaker to rotate and try to stop those early pushes, but it's going to be pretty difficult. As soon as Shadow Shaman is level 6, it's going to be, you know, basically kill switch engaged when you're looking at those towers. If your Album Sheet, you know, Lycan by that point should also have up his Vlads, maybe even Treads afterwards, depending on how well he is doing. I mean, maybe an aggressive tri-lane really pressures out the Lycan, but even so, it's never really slowing him down too much. And honestly, we could even see a Wraith King picked up, and we saw that once already today, Lycan and Wraith King on the same team with that Lifesteal Aura kicking in. I mean, it's basically a free Vlad starting at level 4. It usually gets picked up, as we will see Hellraisers grab that Batrider once more. Also could be looking for... No, Centaur gets banned. Looks like Album Sheet, we're watching that last game. More worried about the Centaur as opposed to just the Batrider here.
Yep, so one comes through, and it has a lot of potential against Lycan, to be honest. Like, the Shapeshift is one of those catch-all, I can escape anything kind of tools, but when you get pinned in by a Fissure, or if you get caught inside that lasso, then you're going to have a pretty bad time of things. A lot of times you see the Nyx dropped in to try to counter that out a little bit, but if that's not going to be the case, then of course they have other heroes to choose from. We talked about the Shadow Demon last game. Even better this game, in my opinion, with the Lycanthrope, as well as being up against the Skywrath Mage. You want to defensively disrupt against the Skywrath and the Batrider. You want to offensively disrupt with your Lycan, so no matter how you use it, it's a great spell. But first and foremost, they pick up the big, bad red guy, Doom. He's going to be going in and most likely taking Skywrath out of the fight, or maybe one of the two cores.
Hopefully doing a little bit better than the Doom that we did see earlier in the day, if any of the viewers have been sticking around the entire time since then. So questionable Doom plays earlier on in the day, a bit unfortunate. Album Sheet obviously not looking to repeat that. And speaking of the Wraith King, well, speak of Wraith King, and he shall appear, there he is on the side of Hellraisers.
Yeah.
Looking to be a core, though.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, there is still a possibility of things transitioning. We've seen Earthshaker go core and Skywrath go core in the past, but it's more likely than not going to be a core Wraith King. And it works well because it's a hero that doesn't really care that much about Doom. Yes, Aura of Vampiric is negated as well as the crit, but he has 2 lives and he can just come right back up full strength with the second one there. So a lot of potential there. I think Album Sheet could be looking for a techies pick here. I mean, you open it up and you just think, well, okay, well, if you get the stasis traps down, some good long duration stun, and
The battle techies.
you know, just drop your mines everywhere. I'm saying Album Sheet keeps techies.
Twitch chat is definitely looking for the techies pickup, but you know I don't think it's gonna happen yet. Relatively unknown so far in the Dota 2 how it's gonna work. I don't know. I'd
There
love
was
to see
actually
that range.
as
Like,
much as
what
we
is it,
joked,
700?
yeah, he's got crazy attack range. It's absolutely absurd. But it's like it's got the siege projectile as far as like it goes up and has an arc to it, based off the
Mm-hmm.
mortar team, I believe. Yeah, the mortar team from Warcraft 3, and yeah, obviously the extremely low base damage. But there was actually a weird patch that switched up which heroes were in captain's mode and weren't. It was essentially there was a 6 hour period where Ember Spirit and Earth Spirit were actually in captain's mode far before they were supposed to be. And I don't know. I was just curious if maybe that was even tested, whether or not he
Yeah,
was possible.
if it was available, I bet a team here would have picked it. Maybe
Yeah.
they don't want to mess around with the Starladder admins. They're serious business and
Oh,
they're very
so
good at what they
serious.
do. But I don't know. Yeah, I did see that screenshot. I saw the Earth Spirit get picked up. I think it was Earth Spirit and Legion, right?
Maybe, yeah. It's been
Well,
a
you
little
said
bit.
Ember, and Ember's already in, so it probably wasn't him.
Oh no,
Speaking of Ember,
it was right after the Spirits patch though. It was like right after
Oh,
the Spirits.
there was one even more recently, I think, where a team had picked up Earth Spirit and Legion.
Yeah, and I think there's
Pretty
console
recently.
bugs and stuff like that where you can abuse it, but I don't think that really applies to private lobbies in the same way. I don't know. Anyways, we're not going to be seeing any shenanigans here. We're all official, professional, and top-notch play here. Hellraiser's going into the last pick. They banned out the Ember Spirit. They don't get the option of the Death Prophet, though, so they'll have to look for something else, something that synergizes well with that Vampiric Aura for a little bit of right-click, and, of course, they have plenty of disables to set it up, so they are looking for some damage.
Yeah, and Hellraisers took out a lot of the common picks you'd throw along with this, whether it be the Viper, the Razor, or even the Brewmaster. All of them dropped out of this game by Hellraisers themselves, so they're going to have to go a little bit off the beaten path in terms of what they're going to pick up. And I mean, I'm sure once they do it, it'll seem pretty obvious. But obviously, a lot of carries could synergize pretty decently. Lots of stuns, lots of teamfight control already. Hellraisers just need somebody to do the damages for them later in the game. Actually, they might need mid or off lane, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
if Wraith King goes core, unless Wraith King maybe does something a little different.
Yeah, no, they definitely want something that'll deal damage to Soul Mid. Don't really... You want some counter push, so some AoE clear. I think a Puck would be pretty cool.
Windrunner,
Wind Ranger, obviously, has
Ranger, excuse me,
a lot to bring to
everybody.
the table. And Power Shot's not bad. So I could see that being valuable, but do Hellraisers want to run that? And that's the question.
Yeah, probably, we'll see. I mean, what do you even think about Invoker potentially for Hellraisers? Put it in safe lane. roam
Invoker's
these
too slow.
support,
He's too slow. You're getting Lycaned, you're getting Shadow Shamaned.
Yeah.
No.
Where I saw the EMP did not quite work out. They're gonna go with the Storm
Love
Spirit
it.
though. So yeah, I mean, good pick-off potential. You can try to find that Shadow Shaman, make sure he never gets those wards down. You've obviously got the eventually the Orchid, but also the Pool to try to or the Electric Vortex rather for the Lycan, try to burst him down when he's split pushing. So we'll always have to live in fear of that Storm Spirit.
Now, it will be
Orphan
countered
has
out
no
by
opponent yet, though.
some instant disables like the Telekinesis, the Hex from the Shadow Shaman. As well, Doom is a great counter to him, but that doesn't mean that he isn't going to be an active hero across the board. There is still a lot of potential, even against disables, for Storm Spirit to be a very interesting pick, and is not even going to really have to worry about the pounce so much from the Slark. So, Aloha Dance is going to make some plays happen there. We'll see the counterplay. Rubik still is a very fun hero to play against Storm because you get to steal that Ball Lightning, and of course you do have the potential to pick him off as well. So we'll see the lineup here. It looks like it is going to be a core, like, safe lane Slark, and that would leave Lycan. I hope he doesn't start jungle. He'd have to go mid.
Yeah, which isn't uncommon. You see him already. He's got the Stout Shield and a Quelling Blade, tangos of his own, and 2 pooled tangos. So it's like Chomi will be taking the Lycan into the mid. Not the most common thing. And then we've got some more, I guess, standard supports that at least you see these days. Vova Pain on the Shadow Shaman, Bignum on the Rubik, and that's going to be Inquisitor on the Slark, leaving that off lane. Another off lane Doom. No
Check-
fear, looking for a good game though.
Yeah, but check out this dire mid, bro. Yoku on the core Earthshaker. It's gonna be the crit shaker. He's already
Clark is
dancing around with the
smiling
totem.
somewhere.
Yeah, this is gonna be awesome. He's already pulled 2 tangos, gonna go for an early bottle. Still sometimes see the Blink Dagger come out on the Earthshaker just to set up his abilities so much more effectively, but long term he's gonna be looking for right click. He's gonna be looking to deliver the damage in quick bursts, and it could be just what they're looking for.
Yeah, well, gonna be exciting, no doubt. So Hellraisers, we'll run through them. We got art style. He didn't pick techies. Sorry, chat. Art style.
He did. It's just in disguise right now.
Yeah,
You got to be
maybe
subtle about it.
They got a sixth man. It's hiding in the courier or something. Dread will be on the Skywrath. Batrider handled by Dubas here. I've been seeing a lot of that recently. Aloha Dance, not on a Jakiro. He's on a Storm Spirit this game. And as already mentioned, Yoki. Mid lane, Earthshaker.
Yeah, so some good movement potential between the Wraith King and the Skywrath Mage. A lot of damage, a lot of slow. Like, even the Wraithfire Blast has a slowing effect. Concussive Shot has 4 full seconds on top of that, so they aren't just going to be stunning, they're going to be hitting pretty hard, getting a lot of good right clicks in, and it's going to be on AS to try to avoid that as much as possible in the early stage. They do get some Howl bonus when it is up for Chomi, but he's just going to be using it on the mid mostly to benefit his CS. Interesting build for him. The Quelling Blade plus Howl pretty much guarantees CS when that active is up, but some might consider the Quelling Blade unnecessary here.
I mean, yeah, I would say so. Obviously, Enchant Totem will be a big deal if you ever want to try to out-deny the Earthshaker. Seems like it will be pretty hard, but that is a decent cooldown. It also is a decent amount of mana for the small mana pool, Strength Hero Earthshaker. I just really wanting the last hits, I guess. Maybe he was expecting someone else here as opposed to the Earthshaker, maybe like the Batrider or something. I don't know, hard to tell, but it doesn't seem like it'll be a bad idea. I mean, really securing that early farm. His first item is a Vanguard. It's really cheap anyway, so the more last hits he can get to that Vanguard pretty quick. Or Vanguard, what am I saying? Vlad's.
Maybe.
It's been a long day. It's been a long day.
I don't know, man. Maybe he goes for the super
Maybe he goes
Vanguard strat. You just called it. That's a Babe Ruth shot right there. But
I've called Stranger Things, but I think he'll be going for Vlad's.
Suppose so. So we'll see some good push momentum behind their creep waves. They don't actually have any summons other than the wolves, but you know, if you just get a good solid wave with some good armor, the master wards will do their job, and that should be pretty much on ward cooldown, guaranteeing a tower. There is still some potential for that to be thwarted, but it's going to acquire art style to get active pretty early on. He doesn't even have boots right now, so he's not really going to be finding much kill potential against Doom unless No Fear really oversteps his bounds.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll see the Wraith King, even as a support, just go boots first so they can really find those early kills. Although you've got Dread, the long-range concussive shot, so hopefully he can get you in range, boots or not. Doom is about to be level 2, looking to devour. Didn't even pit stop in the jungle or anything, wanted to get to his lane. So no aura yet for him. Maybe he's hoping he can wander into enemy territory. As a bottle up for the Earthshaker, he's going to get that illusion rune, and now Dread diving way behind the tower here onto No Fear.
But I think they can do this, though. This should be really good. They're going to get the stun out from the Wraithfire Blast. They also have Storm's damage. He skills up his stun as well. This is a guaranteed first blood going the way of Aloha Dance.
Nicely done there. Aloha Dance off to a great start this game. Early first blood. He's got the Bass out as well, which isn't super common for his hero in general, but when you take it into the safe lane and you want to have potential to get a tower, that's what you do. And a rotation over quickly from the supports of Album Sheet to the middle lane. They will take out the Earthshaker, who is not doing better than the Lycan, but still doing reasonably well. He's 9-0, Lycan 16-7.
So how would you feel about a Slark going Midas here? I actually kind of feel like if they go for enough tower push and then maybe they can control Roche a little bit, that it's quite warranted as far as getting into the mid game and out carrying heroes like the Wraith King and the Earthshaker. But it's complete free farm for him, and it is a decision you have to make if you want to go aggressive, if you want to be active. So what would you say?
I mean, it seems like it would be fine. I don't think it's gonna be under too much pressure right now. He's farming very well. Already has 1,000 gold, and a lot of people will say, oh, Slark's all mid-game, he doesn't really do much in the late game, but I would disagree. He does a lot in the late game. Like, if he lives, he's attacking super fast with Essence Shift, he can make people so weak, and he becomes so incredibly strong. But he goes back, he finishes his treads, and finishing the treads, I mean, he can still get that Midas probably by 7, 8, 9 minutes, somewhere around there, and it would maybe be okay. I don't think it's necessary, though.
Yeah, he's going to be able to tread swap around a little bit with these, so that's going to be nice. He actually is going for a jungling build, the Darkback Max. You want to use that on creeps for the most part. At 1 point is plenty for heroes, so the fact that he has that means he is going to be very active in his own jungle, and that means he and Lycan can really just take all the resources off the map that they want. Doom can kind of keep doing his thing on top lane, perhaps. For now, he's going to make his way towards mid. Shockwave, Scorched Earth available, but it looks like he just wants some free XP.
Yeah, Vova here with an invisibility rune. He's gonna go look. Oh my gosh!
Oh,
Well, he can't
this
Ether
ether
Shock to take all
shock,
that down.
the value. Is he gonna do it? No.
He's just trying to split the XP, I think.
But he could get like 3 huge creeps out of that and completely screw off the screw over the Batrider's Blink Dagger. Oh my gosh, that was like the perfect timing.
Well, he was gonna die. He would die for it. He just walked past like 3 enemy heroes that were camped up in the middle lane.
He's gonna die anyways. Don't worry about that.
Vova's got this. He's gonna die. No, actually, they turned down. Art Style and Dread are close by, but they don't quite see him. Now they see him. This ward up here, it's been there for a while. About to run out. They're trying to rotate over towards Aloha. Aloha gonna greet them first. They'll lift it up and throw him back to his own high ground while he will continue farming. So no blood shed from that, but some nice investigations there by Vova and stealing some of that XP away from Batrider. No gold, however, so Bat halfway to that Blink Dagger.
Yeah, still got plenty of experience, you're right, but I think Dread was a little slow to react there. That Dire Observer ward showed him for an extended period of time, and Dread was still heading his way towards the mid lane. 3v1 Pincer would have been a guaranteed kill, but yeah, in the end, he makes the safe play, doesn't fall to the opposition, and just gets to move up towards level 4 here in just a moment. Our style does not currently have vision of Vova, but he's going to now, and probably just make sure that he's going to be able to control the rune, or at least prevent the Shadow Shaman from picking it up.
Yeah, both of the supports for both teams here at the top rune, waiting for it, and it will be a regen. Oh, and he will throw actually even the stun over to Vova. There's a concussive shot from the low ground into the river, and the attack's coming through from Artstyle. No crit yet, but he will have another blast. And the silence goes out to amplify that damage even further. A couple more right clicks, and they will get it. Dread on the Skywrath picking up that kill. 2-1 right now for the Hellraisers, as Chomi, casually sponsored by Reebok, continuing to farm up the middle lane. But Storm Spirit has the most so far, 43 and 20. Already got double robe with the Magi, looking for a very, very early Orca timing, especially trying to bring down this tower as we see them creep skipping.
Yeah. And this Slark build kind of confuses me now. The fact that he's going to be going for a farming build, but a farming skill build, but a fighting item build, it just makes it a little bit awkward as far as where he goes to engage. Like, he's not going for the Midas, but he's also not helping out on the top tier 1, and he probably wants to set up shop here for quite some time. So the fact that he has like a 20-second cooldown pounce, it just feels a little bit awkward to me that he's not really getting kill momentum, but he's also not taking any advantage out of those treads.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the Dark Pact might not necessarily be to transition into, you know, clearing out those jungle stacks and whatnot once, well, his ultimate's already up with that passive to regen in between, but more so to be like an early infestation in this lane. Just keep pushing out with that Dark Pact. Meanwhile, Lycan starts coming online. Maybe Lycan swings top to start pushing, or maybe Earthshaker's pulled out of mid, and then Lycan starts pushing in the mid lane and putting pressure elsewhere is the Slark. Just being, you know, overly annoying, but I would agree for the most part. It seems weird not maxing out that pounce, especially with the build he has gone for here. He wants to push. I mean, he got a Ring of Aquila. If you're going to upgrade it to an Aquila, you want to push towers.
Yeah, but still, hasn't used his Dark Pact yet that I've seen, and we'll have to see if they're actually contesting him. Right now, Aloha Dance has his ultimate, has Oblivion's Stave, and even another Roland Magi. So that's a lot of intelligence when he swaps to his blue treads, and there's going to be a huge amount of kill potential here on the mid. Lycanthrope does have Shapeshift. That's fast, but is the Chain Stun going to be enough? We do see them going in retreat, though. Daylight breaks, and there is, of course, the Observer Ward here in the mid lane for the Radiant.
Chomi went really early treads. I mean, they took off the bonus health from Shapeshift being 100, 200, and 300 at its 3 levels. So he goes for early treads, which is maybe a little less common. So it slows down the Vlads a little bit, but since he's stuck in the mid lane, he's not going to be able to push without a big response from Hellraiser, so I don't think he's too worried about the Vlads yet. Meanwhile, TP's down at the bottom lane. The first pounce of the game going out on the Dubos, and we'll bring him down almost instantaneously. Meanwhile, on the back line, the Shadow Shaman falls to Aloha Dance, and it looks like more will be falling to Aloha Dance. Oh, maybe not Inquisitor here. That pounce now coming off a cooldown. It's rank 2. The Dark Pact damage will get it. It's a double kill, and it's about to be a triple on the art style, but no, the Fade Bolt is going to pick up that one. Or actually, the creeps.
Yep, so a very aggressive movement from them, but it's just not going to be enough to net any kills there. Even with all his intelligence, Stormspirit had a limited mana pool. He ran dry, and from there you really can't do too much. So they didn't get the initiation they were looking for. The Slark already having his ultimate allows him to maneuver out the fight, and he has just enough to send them packing. So he is really ramping up on farm now. 2-0-1, Midas or not, he is the top of the net worth by a small margin, I guess. The tier 1 tower was claimed by Storm Spirit, so he did rack up some easy Gs there, but nevertheless, Inquisitor, without that requirement, has still been able to top him off.
Yeah, now his skill build doesn't matter at all. Like, level 10 already, and,
Yeah.
and just like one or two more creep waves and Pounce is maxed out, so literally doesn't matter. That fight came at pretty much, I guess, the perfect time for him, and right on his doorstep. I guess he started it off onto Dubas. He exploded that Batrider, who did die, and well, almost should have had enough for his Blink Dagger, maybe did, and didn't buy out in time. He's up to 2053 right now. Very close to finishing it. It will be Brown Boots Bottle into a Blink at about 10 minutes, which I would say is probably the average time, since Batrider's taken a couple nerfs as I don't even know what I'm doing. Earthshaker killing Doom. Didn't quite see that one, but I'm guessing he was jungling low health or something? I don't know.
Relatively low, but you gotta look at this. Oh, nice Fisher.
nice
Oh, he can't go anywhere. Completely locked in, but at least the Rubik will turn it around. Has the Fisher of his own. Level 1. Not a great stun, but he will throw it out. And the Pounce connects on a Dread, forcing the TP home. As far as that pickoff goes, the Earthshaker is Phase Boots and Enchant Totem, level 4, up against a 1 armor hero. Do you know how much he could actually do against a target like Doom? It's absolutely absurd in the right clicks, so he brings it down pretty quickly.
Here. Oh, and the Pounce over the Fisher. Beautifully done there by Inquisitor. Earthshaker down, looking to art style now. He's only level 5. It should be a pretty easy kill. Flame Break. Trying to drop him to the low ground, but won't work. Max Dark Pack doing enough damage to bring down another kill. And, well, all that was going on. Shadow Shaman killed Storm Spirit in the off lane, the Radiant off lane, by the tier 2. I don't know if he just surprised him from the tree line with a Hex Shackle and the tower was hitting him or what, but second death there for Aloha Dance. After such a great start, now those 2 deaths starting to slow down. Still will be a pretty early Orchid, I think, but starting to slow it down.
Very awkward indeed. So they are really relying on this Earthshaker to keep making the plays happen. Yoku does like almost 400 damage with his right clicks now with the Enchant Totem up. We're going to see go on to No Fear. Doesn't even get the chance to cast his Doom, but Aloha Dance falling again. No mana, no HP. Mass Serpent Wards dealing the damage necessary. Artstyle gets a nice stun out, but has to tango through just to get past the trees. And now Yoku and Dread look to clean up the wards.
Yeah, and the push happening bottom right now. Chome and Inquisitor Fortify going to go out. You got 2 points in Pharaoh Pulse, 1 in Howl for the time being. I don't think this tier 1 tower is going to be long for this world. Dubas doing what he can, maybe trying to get a deny. Will actually get the deny. Inquisitor looking for that Pounce over, but it won't land, and now the Concussive Blast going to drop on them both. Mystic Flare gets a little bit of damage on the 2 of them. Inquisitor, though, able to ult up. Dread being chased down here by Chome. Chome, TP coming in. He will run away. Yeah. Max move speed, 522. Chome's out of there. Storm. I heard Storm. Yeah, he's down here as well. I mean, you want to fight on the Storm, but that Orchid is so important. He needs to maybe just farm for instead of getting involved in these kills.
Yeah, he has died 3 times now, so it's been setting him back further and further. He was essentially at this exact state of item progression about 4 or 5 minutes ago, and he just hasn't really moved forward since then. So that really does bite. In the meantime, the ultimate usage of the Slark and the Lifestealer may be unnecessary, but they don't
about to die again.
Easy kills.
Hex
Long
and
duration
Shackle.
Disables, and Aloha. What?
I mean,
I guess because he didn't see the Ether Shock damage, so he was like, okay, this guy's got 25, 30% HP, he can just ball away, but gotta know the skills of your allies as much as your own.
I mean, do they even need the Doom for anyone else in these team fights? I mean, Slark is so strong right now. He's basically got his BKB finish. He's like 200 gold away from that. Another death delays that Orchid about another minute. So now we're looking at a on-time Orchid. One more, if not even a couple minutes delayed now, a couple more deaths, and well, it could be an extremely late Orchid. And I will say that safe lane Storm Spirit, even though they start off farming so well, they do not have very good win rates.
Yeah, I mean, it really just comes down to the player and how they use it as well. Like, if they can, it's like a Clink's Orchid. If you can find the pickoffs, it's insane, but a lot of times you just see the Death Ball strike come through, and it doesn't really add that much value, just a little bit of extra damage, a nice bit of utility, but kills happening left and right.
Nice Fisher block. Well, Fisher block, assuming Earthshaker is standing there, but it doesn't even matter. They bring down Chome. That's a Blink Dagger into the lasso from Dubas to start that off. And with the Wraith King here, 3 points in Vampiric Aura. He's up to level 8. Now it does have that Reincarnate. They like to push into the tower, but they don't have much tower pushing, which is something that seems dangerous in this day and age of Dota 2. About when you win fights or when you get pickoffs, you want to transition in a tower so easily. Instead, Hellraisers are the team that finds and gets a pickoff, but they're the team also losing towers right now. Double
damage Earthshaker going bottom. This could be huge. If they don't disengage right now, they are just going to get whomped on by this guy that does 600% damage with 48 base strength. That is just absurd. And the phase booth on top.
Yeah, he's going to be hitting quite a bit. 178 with the double damage. Doesn't have a lot of base damage there, only 77, and it does just double your base damage, but still, 400%, pretty nice. But the tower's being pushed in. Earthshaker, you know, he does have his blink up, he does have his echo as well, so he can definitely stop the push by just pressing R. Ooh, Dubas gonna get hexed, and they're gonna have to run away. Vova probably very scared right now, but you see blinking forward, maybe not getting the max blink range out of that, trying to knock back into the lasso, but after that, you know, the mana cost for Flaming Lasso increased to 225, and doesn't have enough mana for it, but can't blink away because, of course, it doesn't cost any mana.
So now we just see a little bit of passivity there. It's kind of the calm before the storm, though. Obviously, both sides have their own reasons for wanting to fight. Aloha Dance almost has his Orc of Malevolence, and he's going to be in the fray right when that happens.
So still quite early.
Yep. And the Slark has just picked up a BKB, so he definitely wants to try to make use of his durability and the fact that he can pretty much live through any fight for the most part. Like, he can be chain stunned a little bit if the Earthshaker and Wraith King are perfect in their coordinated stuns, but otherwise, he should be able to at least get either the ultimate or the BKB off, and if necessary, both, in order to survive and just keep right-clicking away. Doesn't really have a great way of staying on the targets other than Pounce, no Orb of Venom, anything like that, but hopefully the Pounce alone will suffice.
Yeah, and Slark doesn't have to deal with anything like last game where every single hero was pouring out tons of AoE stun and a damage on the ground. Like, once Slark gets in the Shadow Dance, besides a Fissure block, he's really not in much danger at all. We see Storm, he was jungling up a little bit on his way back, has finished up the Orchid, which is, I would say, about a minute or two earlier than normal time, but you also got to keep in mind he didn't go for a bottle at all because he was in the safe lane, so take that into consideration with how well he was doing, and then the 4 deaths he did take after that. So a little unfortunate. Could have maybe even had it at 12-13 minutes, but even at 12-13 minutes, like, if your team isn't ready to back you up, they do have the blink daggers now on everybody because it was a core shaker. But I think they're ready to roll right now. Art Style, though, looks to be the first incarnate of the game, or the first kill on Inquisitor. They're going to turn it around completely.
Up top, Aloha Dance.
A little overzealous, and yeah, Aloha Dance. Well, Orchid, but Doom is a slightly better silence than that Orchid. And now Dread will find No Fear. No Fear going to look to run away. Concussive Blast has already gone out. And here is Artstyle, still alive from the bottom lane. Still has that Reincarnate up as well. Ancient Seal actually stolen by the Rubik and Artstyle. Oh my gosh, if they pop this 5-minute cooldown with the Wolves, that'll be huge, but they won't. It'll have to back off.
A little close call there. But in the end, it's just going to be Lycan rotating back down bottom, pushing out the tier 2 with his Vladimirs. He's going to be building up the Necronomicon, and they're just going to wait for Slark to come right back up. He needs to make use of these cooldowns, needs to take a fight more on his terms, and I guess they can do that with either the Wards or the Doom, or maybe both. In the meantime, though, the fact that Storm Spirit is such a snowball-reliant hero, and is one of their more important cores at this stage in the game, the fact that he's kind of fallen flat so hard with 5 deaths in a very short span of time, it just shows exactly what he needs to change and what he needs to do. He needs to avoid death at all costs. He needs to start just really coordinating with his allies and making sure that he can make the most of his skills.
Yeah, I mean, at least his allies got a big kill there on the Slark, trying to slow down his progress a little bit, but he's already up to 8,000 net worth. Already, what, 2,100 golds, pretty much ahead of that Storm, and even the Lycan ahead of that, but here they go, trying to gank him one more time. They see, actually, Chomi first here, that Lycan in second place at 6.8, and, well, they will bring him down, the Orchid and everything going to be used, but with no bottle, that means Aloha 1 kill, and he has to run all the way back to base, so this also basically stops his progress. I mean, it's a nice kill on a priority target, but Lycan already has everything he needs. I mean, maybe he wants a Necrobuck, and honestly, he's pretty much there, halfway to the recipe.
Yeah.
Not slowing him down too much.
Not sure about Earthshaker's build up here. It looks like he's going for the 4-step after the Blink Dagger, but I have to say, if you're going to go big and go for this 1-pointed Fissure build and just go stats and your Enchant Totem, might as well go big on top of that. Go for the Armlet or go for the Heart of Tarrasque. Crystallis is also an option, but right now he is lacking base damage more than anything.
Indeed. Yeah, I mean, maybe it could possibly be a Necro book. I mean, there's a bit of strength in that component, and
not
they
enough.
definitely lack some push.
Nah, there's not enough strength in that to really make it a warranted choice for this kind of progression, though. Like, it is 8, 12, and 16 at each level. It's okay, but it's so much more cost efficient. Just get 25 from the active Armlet.
Yeah.
Last one mid.
Right. Yeah, Chomi in some trouble. Oh, able to get away there as the Mystic Flare is dropped, but he got that shapeshift off, and there's a Doom now onto Art Style. Again, you talked about it, not a great target to Doom there, because he will die and he will still respawn. But it doesn't matter. I mean, it buys time up top. Serpent Wards drop, Slark gets a tower, will last hit it, so they lead by 1 kill on the side of Album Sheet, but they're up about 3,000 gold and about 1,500 XP. It's at a pretty topsy-turvy game. Mainly, Storm Spirit was doing incredibly well, and then Storm Spirit died 5 times, and now it's Album Sheet with a slight advantage on the graphs.
Yeah,
a big advantage in towers.
Seems like now it's Earthshaker's turn as well. Down to 2, 3, and 1. And Visitor immediately responds to the stun by popping the BKB, and he is going to be perfectly fine here just walking away. So, yeah, initiation attempts kind of coming out left and right, but Earthshaker's the one to fall. The Storm Spirits are the one to fall. It's not just that there's 11 kills on the side of AS, but that they're getting such critical kills, taking down the core heroes that would progress into kind of this unstoppable spree very quickly if they weren't reprimanded. But we do see some really hard shutdowns, and Aloha Dance even isn't really progressing towards the next big thing. What do you think he should go for anyways? A BKB seems kind of natural, but I would prefer a Lincoln Sphere, I believe.
Yeah, I like Lincoln's over Doom. Or, sorry, Lincoln's over BKB when Doom is in the game. I mean...
Wow, those crits! Oh my gosh.
Those are big crits coming out onto Dread. The Wolves are still chasing it here. They'll go under the towers, so I think they back. Yeah, I mean, I like the mana regen. I think he really needs mana regen. So if he goes BKB, he's not going to have really... He's got the Orchid, which is nice, but even just a casual Perseverance on top of this is so much nicer. And he doesn't have the bottle for the extra regen or getting the runes and refilling it. We've already seen he pretty much has to gank and then go back to base. So yeah, I think the Lincolns would really help with that.
But we do have the Necro on the field. That means there's not only going to be mana burn, but also a single target spell to cancel Lincolns if it did exist. For now, you won't even have the chance to dream about it. Too much right-click damage, a haste on the Lycan, and he will just be chopped down. While
it's weird seeing that Lycan so fast.
Yep. And tier 2 will fall. So Scotty coming out very quickly for this Slark, despite him not even needing a Midas. He's 4-1 and 3. Towers are on his side, and he's just going to fill up his inventory with the real items, the one that pack a punch.
Yeah, that Scotty, though, pretty expensive. It's 200 gold away from that ultimate orb. Then he's going to need another 1,200 for the point booster, and what is it, 275 for the Orb of Venom? So, still a little ways to go, but all those stats are going to be pretty unreal for the Slark. And he's going to steal some more, of course, with the extra attack speed, with the fact that he can kite around people with his pounds, and now the Scotty Orb once he gets it. The threat is going to be real if it wasn't already. 4, 1, and 7 right now on that Slark.
So they're going to move about the map a little bit here, trying to drop down and D-ward, because Slark can, in fact, see when he is being watched, but they were a little bit off the mark on the first one, and they will get the D-ward with the second. So for those that don't understand what I just said, Shadow Dance, when you are visible, you do not have the debuff that heals you and gives you movement speed, and you notice that, you know that the wards are somewhere in that general region, and you can try to triangulate the position. A little imprecise first time around, but they get it in the end, and that just gives them more map control to be more active.
Pro tip of the day right there. Should always try to maintain map control when you got that Slark. They're not too worried about, have they picked up a gem yet? Dubas on the other side of the team. You see Batrider's going for this gem a lot. Dread actually bought it for him, but they will hand it over to the Batrider. He's got the Flying Vision, and he's got Napalm, so he can always look up on cliffs as they try to regain some map control. As it's definitely something that they're forfeiting right now, having lost so many towers and then forced to invest into this gem to try to get all these wards down. That Album Sheet has been dropping aggressively, and we can see right now Album Sheet only with 1 ward here. And obviously, as soon as Batrider goes over this path, that'll be disappearing. And looking at the Dire Vision right now, we've just got 1 ward. So both teams playing relatively blind, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Two key areas watched.
But one thing to note is that if the Batrider does get doomed in an aggressive position, then the only one that can bail him out is the Earthshaker. Earthshaker did go for the full 4-staff here. Big investment, but if they can keep the Batrider and the gem alive and on the field, that'll be all the better for them. So we'll see if that even comes into play. But for now, it's going to be Vovapane up on the top lane. Doesn't have the wards on him, but does at least have the pressure put out on this top tier 3. So we already have actually 4 people rotating to defend this. I guess they just all want a piece of that experience, and beyond that, that's going to be Art Style turtling on the mid.
Speaking of that Slark, the pings come out here from Album Sheet onto this ward location. They know that it's there, and they're thinking about de-warding it. But Slark is thinking about killing some people. They got the Necro 3s out in the middle lane. They're trying to take this last tier 2 tower if they can. It looks like they can. Inquisitor trying to get that last hit. Like it gets it actually with his Necro units there. So now very, very close
Oh,
here
BKB.
to this. Scotty, BKB from No Fear, not wanting to use the Doom here on Artstyle. Artstyle, though, no mana. Necrobooks really rip that hero apart if he can't respawn. Oh, Mana Boots come up, though. The Reincarnate will go out in the end. Batrider, though, has already fallen. Now Silence on the No Fear. Wraithfire Blast. They think about trying to turn it around, but they won't. Look at the Serpent Wards from Bova.
Jeez.
All the way in the back of the base, getting attacked by the tier 4s, and now we'll slide over to the rest of the combat where Storm will go down. Buyback forced out here onto the Batrider, and well, the trade, they get a little crazy. No Fear on the Doom does die 2 for 2, I believe, in the end. But Inquisitor reaping all the rewards, XP from staying alive in the team fight, getting a tower hit, or getting a tower. Looking pretty good. Very, very close to that Scotty now.
And they're calling out sometime. I guess it was glyph timing. That's the only thing I
Glyph
can imagine.
chat? Yeah.
But there are no glyphs on
Or
our cooldown.
Reincarnate, I don't know.
It's got to be Reincarnate. But even then, that's like a lot shorter cooldown. I guess this is an interesting point of discussion while there is going to be a small Lu in the combat. But talking about cooldowns and calling them out in chat. First of all, there's a chat wheel for that where you can just hit a button, scroll your mouse slightly to the side, and bam, there's your current time. So that might be better than all chatting.
You could also all chat it. So.
But anyways, rank 1 Reincarnate is like always worth timing out. When you pop that level 1, it's huge. Actually, Chomi going to be gone on, but there's no way they get him. There's absolutely no way. Anyways, but rank 1 Reincarnate, it's 260 seconds. It's absolutely meant to time out. Now I don't know what this is about, but
I was trying to like, no,
1 minute and 1 second later.
It was just random numbers. I'm not doing anything.
No, 1 minute and 1 second later. I don't even know what that is. But yeah, it's always worth it to time out the first one to make this short. Second and third, maybe not as much. It's gonna be almost 3 minutes on his second life, but that's already practically expired. And I guess if you really want to make sure that you're getting the most of your pickoffs, like they almost are now,
It's on cooldown now. The Doom goes out onto the Batrider. There's a nice Fissure to disrupt things a little bit, but it's not going to be enough. Wraith King getting killed by his own Wraithfire Blast there from the Rubik, and the Batrider going to fall to No Fear. Buyback available for Artstyle, but well, they might not even force it to contest the Roche because it's Album Sheet that aren't looking to push high ground right now. They will fall back and they will head on into the Roshan pit.
All eyes on Aloha Dance. This is the best hero in the game to try to zip in, get an Aegis, and get out. But they do have great Radiant Observer wards, and they should be able to see him coming. As far as stuns, we got the Telekinesis and the Hex, and there he is, a little bit too late to the party, and just going to have to expend a majority of his mana to zip right back on out.
Alright, Scotty finished, and who goes? The Aegis over to Chomi right now with the Necro 3 with the Vlads. Aegis BKB on Inquisitor. BKB on the Doom, as we've already seen. A couple Blink Daggers on the supports, as well as an Urn. And it looks like Rubik is looking for an Ags, apparently, as they try to kill Aloha Dance, but will not be able to, using most of their disable already. But here we go. Shape-shifting up is Chomi. Interesting decision, I will admit, as he is the keeper of all things True Sight. He's got the Gem of True Sight and the Necro 3 up on that Lycan.
Yeah, we're gonna stack it up there, making sure they can get some map control, but unfortunately he's not the one wandering in the direction that the Dire have wards. The western and the central jungle for them are pretty much still covered up, and sometimes that's why you actually put the gem out on the Slark, just so you can kind of have tabs on things. But, oh well, in this case it's going to be maybe some momentum coming in from the eastern part of the map down to bottom, but they are very well aware of it with all those Radiant wards.
Slark could be in a little bit of trouble though. They see him. Aloha Dance is going to go for him. Needs to get that Orchid out in time and won't be able to. It doesn't matter anyway because the BKB. Now the counter Doom out onto Aloha. No way Aloha gets out of this. Big Nom. Even Big Nom going to survive the Mystic Flare from Dread. Dread thinks about going back in, and well, as soon as he missteps like that, he essentially forfeits his life as Vovapane with the Blink Dagger on cooldown because he's blinking forward, trying to catch off Yoki, but can't. Artstyle blinking back to his base. They've got to go back and defend, and there's no buybacks. I don't know if they can defend. The push is already here, and Lycan is pushing top, so they're going to be threatened in 2 lanes simultaneously while they've got 3 dead for at least 20 seconds.
Yeah, I can't underestimate the null field plus point booster. Keeping the durability, he survives through that full ultimate, and yeah, now they just chomp down on their targets. Slark just has 15 essence chip, that's 45 base damage added on, and just keeps racking it up. Massive attack speed, massive damage output, and this tier 3 is as good as dead.
And maybe the Rack's behind it. The buyback comes back from Artstyle. It's been a short, about 17 seconds. The other 3 heroes will respawn, and it looks like the Racks will stay alive in the bottom lane. Up top, though, Chomi now in some trouble. Remember, keeper of all things true, so I did have the Aegis. Not the best hero for Aegis, though. He will not have his ultimate form when he gets back alive, and they will bring him down almost immediately. But it looks like while we took our eyes away, another team fight sort of ensued, or a bit of a skirmish, and it would appear that Album Sheet won it, because they will take out the entire bottom Racks here at about 29 minutes, as Aloha zipping all the way back to base. Thought he was maybe going in, but we'll zip back to base with the gem.
Yeah, just staying glued to those racks. He'll do what he needs to, and
I don't...
Racing Bob, he's just screwing with him now at this point. He's like, all right, yeah.
Sorry, new keyboard.
Okay. The initiation, we're going to see the pounce, double stun on the Yoku. Purely offensive hero. Not going to be able to save himself. I will mention that Dubas earlier down on the bottom lane, when they tried to initiate onto the Slark, not only did he go pretty early, but he tried to get a lasso out against a Slark, which, if you give him even a fraction of a second between the electric vortex and your cooldown, it's going to be dispelled very quickly. So that loss of the cooldown and the fact that they got pinned down pretty hard, I mean, Doom on the Storm Spirit, the Pounce is connecting, they just start losing heroes left and right, and from there, this is AS to take this game away. There's almost nothing that HR can do at this point. They put up a good fight in the earlier stages, 10 to 15 minutes in particular, but now it's just out of control. This Slark had absolute free farm, is going right up to the top racks, a couple chunks on that, while the Serpent Wards take down on the mid.
Yeah, should be the Megas pretty soon. Expect Hellraisers to throw out the GG, but, Bat respawning 20 seconds. Looks like they want to give it one last go. Another Doom out onto Artstyle just to buy some time. This time he doesn't have Reincarnate, so if they kill him, it's maybe even worth the Doom. Lovely Pain going to jump forward, and Aloha Dan's going to jump on him as well, but it's the Slark who comes in, the man of the hour, looking to just clean everybody up. So much damage right now. Aloha is able to zip away, but Artstyle will call out the GG. Inquisitor off the mark with that bounce, but that attack, it's sizable. They will get him there. 3 dead, and the GGs come out, no fear again, and all chat with that one, but this time it's supposed to be, so it's a little bit better, but...
Yeah, I was expecting him to go for the BM GG timestamp, where it'd say, oh, 31:18, you call GG. Sorry, keyboard. Still getting the bind.
Still new. Still a new keyboard.
But that wraps it up for us.
Yeah, pretty long day. Techies dropped in between the 3rd and the 4th game, so we had a bit of a delay. Thank you for everyone who stuck around to watch the stream here for Starladder Europe qualifiers for Season 10. Make sure to buy that ticket compendium, get your hands on that tiny set. Make sure to follow Starladder on Twitter. I think it's Starladder_TV. You can also follow @BeyondTheSummit.